Right now at 6, authorities are investigating a homicide in Pittsburgh. We'll have the latest on the situation. Plus, the Missouri House spends its last day in session working to protect patient-visitor access at hospitals. Also, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly vetoing a bill prohibiting government mask mandates. And the Ronald McDonald House cooking for a good cause. We'll hear about a fundraiser to benefit the nonprofit and how area organizations are helping out. You're watching the KOAM News at 6, and it starts right now. And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. New overnight, one person is dead, one injured, and another in custody following a late-night shooting in Pittsburgh. According to the Pittsburgh Police Department, just before 11 last night, numerous 911 calls came in from people reporting multiple gunshots around the 100 block of West 23rd Street. When officers arrived, they located two female victims. 40-year-old Stephanie Short of Pittsburgh was pronounced dead on the scene. 46-year-old Velma Cubey of Kansas City had gunshot wounds as well and was transported to Via Christi in stable condition. Police identified the suspect as 39-year-old James Hamilton of Pittsburgh. Hamilton was taken into custody by the police department. Officials have requested charges of murder in the first degree and attempted murder in the first degree. The Missouri House spent its last day of the session yesterday passing language protecting patient-visitor access at hospitals. House members voted overwhelmingly in favor of the regulations on hospital, nursing home, hospice, and other long-term care patients. The measure was motivated by visitor bans and restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Senate did not vote on the matter as they ended their session a day early. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly vetoed a bill prohibiting government mask mandates in Kansas and curbing the power of state and local health officials. The measure would have prevented state and local government officials from issuing mask mandates and ordering law enforcement agencies to help them enforce orders dealing with infectious diseases. But the measure passed with less than two-thirds majorities in both chambers needed to override the veto. 34th-state weather, it was another toasty one. Nick Kelly joining us.
Absolutely, Chris. Highs pushing into the upper 80s to almost near 90, but the heat and the humidity has not resulted in any rain or thunderstorms here, so we're looking at a good sky from our corner of Joplin from the 7th and Range line. But even though we don't have anything going on here, I want to keep an eye on the thunderstorms off to the east, because even though the vast majority of those will stay from Table Rock Lake east, any outflow boundaries from those storms, if they can survive the journey westward, could try to spark a few storms here. But what I'm really focusing on, what Doug's focusing on as well, he's been doing that for the past few days, is our next cold front, ready to change things up as we go into Sunday. For now, it's really warm, it's muggy, with most of us in the upper 80s to near 90. We're going to drop through the 80s, 70s, down to the mid-60s later on tonight, but our main focus for the main weather segment coming up, Chris, will focus on the thunderstorm potential for Sunday, because they could be severe if they can materialize as we're expecting. We'll break it all down for everybody here in a few.
All right, Nick, thank you. The Ronald McDonald House, along with the Rotary Club and Joplin FFA, worked together this morning to benefit the nonprofit. The organization hosts this event once a year, and this year served biscuits and gravy to attendees at the Webb City Farmers Market. All proceeds go towards services the Ronald McDonald House provides to families in need.
Our family serves a 65 to 70 mile radius, and all of those costs and all of those funds that operate our house program as well as our family room program are privately done. And so as you participate in the breakfast today, you're going to have, again, it's cooking for a cause.
The proceeds from the fundraiser will go towards landscaping for the building. Joplin Humane Society hosted its second annual Fast and Furriest Drift 5K and Fun Run today. Runners of all ages, human and dog, lined up at the starting line to raise money for the Joplin Humane Society. Vendors also gathered to show their support for the race by having goodies for their dogs. Whether people walked, ran, or pushed strollers, everyone had a good time supporting the community.
Spring especially is really busy at the shelter, and every dollar counts. So events like this today make it so we're able to care for the thousands of homeless pets that are in our area.
With this year's Fast and Furriest Drift, Joplin's Humane Society was able to raise close to $10,000 to help homeless pets in the area. Jasper County Sheriff's Office hosted a Community Safety Day for the community. The Sheriff's Office wants the community to learn more about what they do day to day to keep the community safe. K-9 units and SWAT held demonstrations to show what they go through while in the field. Many local vendors came to showcase what the community had to offer. And the shooting demo, like you saw there, was held inside to practice shooting at targets. Of course, nothing was complete on this hot day until you had some food, and there were some popcorn, hamburgers, and snow cones available to the public.
Anytime that we are able to relate well to the community, and through the forms of just interactions like this, I think they understand a little better about what we do and can appreciate some of the struggles that we have from time to time, as well as just understand some of the things that we do to serve them in this way.
This is the 10th year that Jasper County has hosted the Community Safety Day. The Barber Lounge in Carthage hosted its first ever Battle of the Beards, and the beard battle was only part of the fun. There were also free inflatables, food trucks, raffles, and more. There were multiple categories for bearded folks based on length and style, and the winner in each category received beard and grooming products, gift certificates, and each first place winner received a trophy. There was one overall grand champion who won a grand champion trophy, 12-gauge shotgun, and free beard grooming for a year. A heads up, we brought this to you last week and bringing it to you again today. We're going to bring it again to you tomorrow just so you don't forget. So weather permitting, folks in the 4 states can be treated to a total lunar eclipse tomorrow night. Now, according to the site timeandday.com in Joplin, the eclipse will begin around 8:32 Sunday evening. And the total eclipse will start at 10:29 and reach its peak at 11:11. And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Corporal Howard Spears served in the Army in Korea, his hometown, Anderson. We're proud to recognize Corporal Howard Spears, tonight's 4-state hero. And remember, to learn more about our other heroes or to nominate one of your own at any time, you can do that at KOAMNewsNow.com. Still ahead, the FDA issuing a warning about a growing danger to children on Friday, plus what a new report says could have prevented the majority of COVID-19 deaths since early 2021.
Consumer Watch.
Check this stuff out. This is our time lapse of our tower cam brought to you by R.E. Smith Construction. It is a literal tower cam because you see our towers there. Why are we showing this to you so often? It's because we have a very big, important project going on here at KOAM. If you want to learn more about this very big, important project, you can do that at KOAMNewsNow.com/power. With marijuana legal in many places, the FDA issued a warning about a growing danger to children on Friday. Edibles, which often look like popular candies and cereals, might be enticing to kids, but they should not eat them. The THC-infused products have caused serious symptoms like hallucinations, rapid heart rate, and vomiting in young children. The FDA reports many kids have even been hospitalized. Since the beginning of last year, public health officials have logged more than 100 adverse events from edibles with THC. If a child has consumed an edible, call Poison Control at 800-222-1222 before any symptoms appear. A new report out Friday suggests higher vaccination rates could have prevented half the COVID-19 deaths in the United States since early 2021. That's when most adults became eligible for vaccines in the U.S. Vaccination reached a peak of more than 3 million doses administered each day in April of 2021. Researchers found that if each state had continued at their peak vaccination rate until all adults were fully vaccinated, about 319,000 lives could have been saved. That would have cut the total number of COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. by about a third, and deaths between January of 2021 and April of this year in half. West Virginia, Wyoming, Tennessee, and Kentucky have some of the highest shares of avoidable deaths. According to data from the CDC, about a quarter of adults in the U.S. are not fully vaccinated with their initial series, and more than 3 in 5 adults have not received a booster shot. Europeans need more sunscreen, and the U.S. hits a once inconceivable milestone in the pandemic. Michael George has some of the week's top health stories.
The White House lowered its flag to half staff, marking 1 million deaths in the U.S. from COVID-19. President Biden called it a tragic milestone, and lawmakers paused for a moment of silence. A new survey finds more than 7 million Europeans are estimated to have skin cancer, despite it being the most preventable form of the disease. Leading dermatologists in Europe say more education is needed to help people make safer skin choices, including the use of sun protection to block ultraviolet rays. And new research finds medication to treat opioid abuse is underutilized. In a study at the Washington University School of Medicine, out of 180,000 patients treated for opioid disorder, more than 50% were not given the potentially life-saving drug buprenorphine. The authors say because the drug is also an opioid, some doctors may be hesitant to prescribe it. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A little later, we're going to tell you what day today is and give you some background on this as well.
But first, we're dry to start this evening out, but I'm watching very carefully how thunderstorms could unfold for tomorrow. We'll break it down next. Our warm and muggy stretch continued once again, making it feel like June, even though we are still very clearly in the early to middle part of May. And the numbers over the past 36 hours continue to back that assertion up very well. Well, at least very well for those of you that like an early taste of summer late in this part of spring. We hit the mid-80s yesterday. We dropped back at least into the mid-60s this morning, but we had a big jump throughout the day, back at least into the upper 80s. I think Joplin Regional flirted with the 90-degree mark earlier today as well. So despite all this warmth and heat, arguably, and the humidity in place, you would assume that will result in at least some isolated storms, but we're not seeing anything right now, at least in our area, on the radar network. However, I am keeping an eye not just on these storms out across Table Rock Lake with an outflow boundary that could try to work westward, maybe potentially sparking a few storms in southwestern Missouri, but I'm also watching these storms out in western Kansas, which I don't think will affect us. But on top of that, our cold front to the north, that's going to be a big player in our forecast as we go into tomorrow. In the meantime, though, we're looking good from 7th and Range Line. That's a mostly sunny sky up top. 87 and Joplin with the north breeze, but still with the dew point in the mid-60s, it makes it feel like 88 degrees outside. So while the dew points are not terribly up there, you take the temperatures in the mid-80s to about 90. Add about a degree or two, that's the effect against your skin if you're going to be out and about this evening. But as far as the breeze goes, it's been fairly light, but notice how we're getting more northerly winds knocking on the door of the Kansas border. That is where our next front is. Before it gets here, though, we're mainly quiet this evening. Maybe some clouds building in by midnight and through the overnight. Most of us still will drop back into the mid-60s. Now, let's widen the view out. Again, I don't think these storms out in western Kansas will make it here. I think they'll fall apart before they can, but maybe as they fall apart, maybe a random storm or two in our western counties overnight. But this is the main cold front that's working on in for tomorrow. A couple that with this upper level low, the brunt of it's going to stay north, but we'll get a bit of a wave running along that to help with rain and thunderstorm chances and even a severe threat, a low to elevated severe threat, certainly as you work toward Nevada, Parsons, the Joplin Metro, and down toward Table Rock Lake. I want to keep an eye on these storms in general, not just from 10 a.m., but all the way through 7 o'clock tomorrow, depending on how the storms play out. I still think high wind, large hail, heavy rain will be the biggest issues as that front pushes storms in here. For tonight, though, the storms out west, I still expect them to weaken. Maybe a random storm or two overnight in some parts of southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma, but let's keep an eye on the storms to the north as they get going. Most of the models want to indicate, or at least our thinking wants to indicate, that while most of the action could skirt our northeastern counties early in the morning, outflow from those storms could spark additional strong to severe storms for areas along the south of Interstate 44 before we clear things out by tomorrow evening. But as far as where we go for the 7-day forecast, went a little ahead there, but if I've got enough time, I want to quickly pull up that 7-day because we will get a little bit of a break in the action once we get past this storm system. I'm making tomorrow an alert day because of the potential severe threat. Highs are 84. Let's go 76 on Monday. Mostly sunny, looking good. And then the rain chances start creeping back up with maybe another severe threat by next weekend, Chris.
A little bit of a wet week ahead, but the temperatures are looking pretty nice.
Yeah, Monday's going to be mighty nice to get a break from the 80s and the early heat and humidity.
Yeah, it will be a very nice break. Nick, thank you so much. Turning to sports, Crowder playing Jefferson, not playing for Jefferson, but they're playing Jefferson for the Region 16 championship today.
Yeah, and last year it was these same two teams in the title game. Crowder won it and moved on. So good matchup here. We've got the highlights. Plus, Neosho kicks off their postseason with a meeting against Pembroke Hill. We'll have that and more from the Class 5 District 7 tournament next.
Nick.
The Rough Riders have advanced to the Region 16 championship, and just like last year, Crowder faces Jefferson in the title game. It's a double elimination bracket, so if Crowder wins, they win it all. If Jefferson wins, they will play a second game. Top of the third here, Ethan Courtney hits it over the center field fence. 3-run home run. Vikings take the lead. To the bottom of the fourth now, Landry Wilkerson, big hit here. He jams it in the corner. 2-run score. Crowder ties it at 3. It's neck and neck all the way through this one. Top of the ninth, though, Jefferson gets a home run over the scoreboard. They force a game 2, topping Crowder 12-11. Now this is it. The winner earns the Region 16 title. Crowder holds on to a big lead late in this one. The Rough Riders are up 7-1 in the bottom of the ninth. At the high school level, the Class 5 District 7 tournament begins today in Neosho. The tournament hosts are the 3 seed. The Wildcats won their final 2 regular season games, putting up 31 runs in those 2 games. Neosho aims to stay hot, taking on Pembroke Hill in the quarterfinal round. We'll pick it up in the top of the 4th. Spencer Hendren puts one through the left side. Philip McMillan rounds third and slides into home. Raiders take their first lead, but not for long. Eli Czar reaches and gets a piece. River Brill scores to tie it. Then Wyatt Shadwick hits it high and deep to the fence. Reese Miller scores easily off the triple by Shadwick. Wildcats back on top. And in the 6th, Czar gets another base hit. Carson Williams comes home. Neosho tops Pembroke Hill 9-7 for their first district win since 2017.
We've been in a lot of really close games this year, and I kept telling the guys during the season that we're in these tight games for a reason, so that when we're in them at the end of the year, we're able to come out on top. And we kept grinding. Our hitters stayed focused. Pitching, we used whatever we needed to use, and defense played well enough to get us a win today, so that felt good. And it's our first district win since 2017, so the kids worked hard for this. We had 4 wins last year. So for us to come out and win a district game and hopefully go on and try to win another one on Monday feels great, and the kids deserve all the credit.
Webb City enters the tournament as the 2 seed facing Grandview. It's a dominating win for the Cardinals. They take care of the Bulldogs in 3 innings, 16-0 the final. So it will be Neosho against Webb City in one of the semifinals. That game is set for Monday at 4 p.m. On the other side of the bracket, Carl Junction tops Raytown South 7-2 this morning. The Bulldogs will play the winner of top-seeded McDonald County versus Ruskin. We'll have the latest at 10. That's a look at sports. We're back after this.
Well, today is National Archery Day. The day observing one of the oldest sports still in existence comes each year on the 2nd Saturday in May. Now, the sport began before 2800 BC when bows were used for hunting and battle. In 1900, it was introduced as an official event in the modern Olympic Games. Archery has grown in popularity in recent years, likely due to the National Archery in the Schools program, which began in Kentucky in 2002. The program has since expanded to 47 states and 10 countries with over 2 million kids participating each year. Of course, you can support the National Archery in the Schools program by sharing your archery activities on social media. Of course, be sure to tag your photos, hashtag National Archery Schools program. That is a long hashtag, but make sure that you use it. A hashtag we have coming up over the next 24 hours is going to be hashtag damp.
Yeah, and stormy depending on how things exactly play out tomorrow morning through tomorrow afternoon. Either way, we've got a severe threat that we need to watch for tomorrow. That's why the alert day is up. Despite that, it's still going to be a warm one before our cold front works in. Highs are 84.
Nick, thank you. And we've got another hashtag. It's hashtag baseball.
Yes, and I got a final from Joe Becker. Crowder beats Jefferson 7-1. So the Region 16 champs, and they advance to the district tournament.
All right, guys, thank you so much. That is our time for now. We'll be back here at 9 and 10. And thanks so much for making us part of your night.
Salon service is provided